This is the Smoked Debrief. Light up, lock in, and let's get to it.
Hey, welcome back. I'm Jim.
I'm Hollywood, and this is the Smoked Debrief. Jim, I can only say that you have gone above and beyond trying to reestablish your reputation as a cigar selector.
Thank you, sir.
Last week we had an Oliva Grand Reserva Limitado, which was outstanding. And could it be true that I looked today and you have an Opus X?
We have Opus X,
Which is my favorite cigar, probably. I have gone to extreme lengths to secure
smells
Opus X cigars that you can't even get anywhere else. Back in the day, there was a duty-free store in Dubai at the airport that had the Dubai Exclusivo Opus X, and I have
exclusivo.
My buddies going in and out of the Middle East that have gone through Dubai airport. I've had them pick them up for me, and I'm really looking forward to this today. What was your motivation for selecting this outstanding cigar?
Because I know you like the Opus X, and I like the Opus. So
Well, outside of the $8, $9, $10 cigars that we normally buy.
Of it, I had to buy two other Fuentes.
Oh, really?
To be able to buy these at Havana Fields.
In what city?
Greensboro.
Havana Fields in Greensboro. A great cigar shop, right?
Yes, sir. Great cigar shop. They got a bar there. We might have to see if they'll let us film out on their outside porch area.
Or maybe they'll let us just do a show from there.
Yeah, I think we'll find out. But not knocking them. I don't mind having to buy something to get this.
So tell us a little bit more about Havana Fields. How long have you been going there? Has it been there for a long time?
I'm not sure how long they've been there. Maybe 8 or 9 years at least. It was an Italian restaurant.
Oh, it was.
They have, I think they have 3 independent rooms. Then they have one where you can anybody can go in, and then they have a membership where it has a bar, and they serve mixed drinks and get you alcohol on.
Do they have a nice humidor?
Yes, they do. Not very big. I mean, it's not like JR size.
Well, no one's like JR's, buddy.
It's they have a very nice selection. Alec Bradley. They've got some of the Rocky Patel's, Davidoff. They have a huge selection of Davidoff, and of course Fuente. My father's cigar. They've got a bunch of those, and there's a few. Padron, I think they've got some Padrones in there. It's hard to remember all of them. Of course, they've got the La Privada stuff.
So they carry the big brands. They carry the major cigar.
Yeah, good stuff.
As always, right off the bat, a great smooth smoke. Now, you were talking earlier off the air about that you had to raise coffee prices because of what's going on. Now,
yeah.
Does that bother you?
It doesn't.
And why did you have to raise coffee prices?
Because the green coffee went up. It went up by $1, maybe $1.25 per pound for in 3 months. It just kept increasing. So whereas I was getting stuff and I was paying maybe $3.90 a pound, now it's all $5 a pound.
Is that because of the tariff?
I don't think it's the tariffs. it's just they had some issues in Brazil. They I think they had some crop failures and there was a bit of a drought. Um, I'm not up on what was going on, and this has prompted me to want to find out more information. So because I wouldn't mind maybe contacting some independent farms on my own and see about importing them myself.
Sounds like we need to take a trip to Brazil or somewhere, buddy, and get the information firsthand.
You are correct, sir. And I have gotten some invites from some farms. So I tell you where I would love to go is La Finca in Mexico, Veracruz. They have got the best coffee bean for cold brew.
Really?
Yes. I was getting Veracruz beans since we opened, and that was all I used for our cold brew. And I had a certain profile that I roasted it to, and it was just like chocolate. I mean,
Why do you think that is? Do you know why?
I believe I seriously think it's where it's at, the ground that it's in and all that. But I was getting them from an importer who when the pandemic happened, he left. He got out of it. He moved to Florida.
From
He was in Winston-Salem.
Oh.
No, he was in Winston-Salem.
Oh, he was an importer.
Yeah. And like I would go to Winston-Salem and I'd get pallets of, the Mexican from his warehouse in Winston-Salem. He was the only one who had that Veracruz. So once he was gone, I still had some, so I didn't really worry about it for a while. But then as my supply dwindled down, I had to start looking, and nobody. I mean, I would ask him, "Would you give me some Veracruz? I'll buy. I'll get a decent order from you," and none of them would do it.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. And I did get one.
Maybe they didn't have a connection.
It's possible, but I did find out from one importer that I get a lot of other stuff from, and he contacted La Finca in Veracruz, and he shot me a text. He said, "Jim," he said, "I'm not going to name names. The other gentleman burnt them on a delivery." And he said, "So they're kind of turned off." And I said, "I get that, but I will buy it. Whatever we got to do. I want this. I want this." So he did manage to get me two bags, two big 70-kilo bags.
Quality was good and everything?
Oh yeah, it was great coffee. And but I didn't know when I was going to get any more. So I contacted. We have Christy, the young lady that works in the bakery at the coffee shop. She's from Mexico, so I got online. I managed to find this farmer's website, La Finca, and but it's all in Spanish. I can't, and you try and call them. I don't speak Spanish, so I asked Christy, "Will you call these people for me?" And so she called them and talked to them. They sent me an email with the pricing and everything, and then the other importer he said, "Jim, I've got a shipment coming." I said, "Okay, well then I won't worry about it," because I told him, I said I contacted them when I was ready to get something straight from them, but there was no price difference. So,
but it'd be better to get it from them anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? In the long run, it'd be better to have that relationship in case this guy has some kind of an issue.
Logistically, it's easier to get it from somebody who's already got that
import set up
in place. But I was thinking, well, I'll rent a U-Haul and go down, drive down to Veracruz and get it, run it back up. So, I don't know. Might end up getting my head cut off or something before we made it.
You are the craziest guy I know.
But there's just something about that region.
I didn't know that the Aston Martin had a trailer hitch on it.
Had what?
A trailer hitch on it.
Yeah. They do fast when I try to hitch.
Man, I love the spice right off. This has got some spice to it.
Yeah.
So, did they email you in Spanish or English, or how did you communicate with them?
They emailed it in English. And they called Christy back and we talked to her. And they were, it was real cool. It made me want to get their stuff even more. It's just, there's something about that particular bean, and the notes. When you see when I'm shopping for coffee beans, and you can look at the different shipments, like the different I can't think of the word for it. That particular harvest. Each harvest they're sampled and then they're rated and scored. And all of them, like most of the other beans, would have like maybe orange, some kind of lemony flavor notes.
You don't want that.
With some walnut or something like that. This one thing from Veracruz, all of their tasting notes are dark chocolate, caramel, and brown sugar. And there's just something about it. And that profile I've got, that it took me a while to figure it out, but I finally got that profile down. And that's the only bean we use for our cold brew. And it's just so good. You put just a little bit of oat milk in it, and it just pops like it's chocolate milk or something. It's crazy. Because you don't think, well, it's coffee, I'm not going to get chocolate. You do. You taste chocolate. It's insane.
Because you get so carried away sharing this knowledge that you forget all about the cigar.
I forgot all about the cigar. This is good. This is the nicest smoke. It's a nice.
It is. It's just.
Father Guido Sarducci. It's a nice cigar.
Saturday Night Live, right?
Mm-hmm. You remember Rosanna
Dana?
Hey, Baba Wawa, you got a little ball of sweat on your nose. She was so funny.
Like my daddy used to tell me, little Rosanna Dana. Gilbert Adner. She was married to
Gene Wilder.
Gene Wilder.
Yeah.
Two comic
That
geniuses.
That was a good love story, too. They were together for a long time.
Well, she died of cancer, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I got to do a shout out. Friend of the Devil. It's a crafted cocktail from Asheville,
North Carolina?
Asheville, North Kakalaki. Let's see where it's at. Blended and canned by the Devil's Foot Distillery, Sweeten Creek Road in Asheville, North Carolina.
How'd you find that?
Oh, I just saw it at the liquor store and just said, hey, that looks good. Vodka lemonade made with Nipitate Botanical Vodka, lemons, cane sugar, and honey. And honey, let me tell you,
Botanical.
good.
Botanical.
Mm-hmm. Nipitate. That's exactly what it says. It's like Pootie Tang. Nipitate the Botanica on the vodka egg. You seen Pootie Tang?
Of course I have. So we're trying a new recording system. It's called Riverside, right?
Riverside FM.
And it quit on the last one because Jim thinks you can plug a charger for a laptop into a USB port, not into an AC outlet. And
It's not true.
it is true.
It's not true. It's the port is designated as the wattage.
I don't care what the wattage is. I know the wattage on that thing you plugged into the wall there is about 5 times what the wattage on that outlet is on that power strip that's got like 17 things plugged into it.
Of course it is. But it's not supposed to be.
Well, no, in their right minds, they never thought you'd have 17 other things plugged into it.
Well, wow, they put 17 holes in it. What do they figure? Hey, we'll put 17 holes. Hopefully they only use 3.
That's what they expect.
You think this is a game? Well, I'm using every one of them damn ports.
Yeah, but
when I cut my shit on, I want one switch. Boop.
But you're not supposed to, Jim.
Sorry.
It's like in the movie business, we have these distribution boxes, right? You know, we feed it with cable, and it's got maybe 6 100-amp plugs in it, but the box is only rated for 400 amps.
Yeah.
Now, you can plug in 600-amp plugs, but you still can't have more than 400 amps coming out of that box.
Well, that's false advertising.
It's not. It means you have to use your mind to figure, okay, I can run 600-amp whips off of this thing, but I can only run 80 amps off of each one of those. It's better to have more holes to be able to run more things at a little lower watt amperage than it is to have 2 and only be able to run 400 amps.
Well, thank you, Nikolai Tesla.
Thank you very much. You know,
It's good smoke.
you can always count on it.
Kind of burning weird, but
Because you lit it weird because you're a weird.
I did light it weird. Oh well.
So we survived the weather, the massive earth-ending storm that was supposed to destroy everything has passed.
It's clearing up. The ground's wet, but there's no more rain. So you watched the Warriors.
I did watch the Warriors.
What'd you think?
It's definitely an 80s movie. 70s.
79, I think.
Definitely a 70s movie.
It was awesome.
It could have been a great musical
No.
if the gangs had broken into some songs.
Yeah.
Right up, it would have been it would have been really great. What is the leader of the bad gang? That guy became a big actor.
Which one?
The guy whose face was very narrow, and he was the guy that shot the leader.
Oh, I don't know. He was in quite a few movies.
He became a big B actor.
Well, James Remar was in a bunch of stuff.
That's the head warrior.
No, he was the one that kept calling everybody pussies. Because when they were running,
yeah,
we're gonna have to stop and fight. He said, "Good, because I'm tired of running."
Yeah, it was an interesting film. It was very. I got a total Omega Man vibe a little bit.
Yeah.
Which is the movies are completely different genres.
Yeah.
But just got from the film, got the total Omega Man drive, vibe. And then at the end, the bad guy got what he deserved.
Okay, do you remember the scene in the park when James Remar started hitting on the chick that was sitting at the bench?
Yep.
You know who that chick was?
No.
Mercedes Rule.
Is that who she ended up being the girlfriend? Who
No.
ended up being the girl that went with them?
That was Deborah Van Valken.
Deborah Van Valk, that's right.
But Mercedes Rule
Right.
was, I think she won an Academy Award. She did a movie with Raul Julia. She's been in several movies. She's a great actor. I think that was
a great actor too.
Yeah, I think that was the first movie she was in. Because I was looking, I was like, is that Mercedes Rule? And I had to wait for the credits to go by and see. But
I loved when they hooked up with a female gang.
Yeah, the Lizzies.
The Lizzies, and then they tried to kill them.
Yeah.
You knew that was coming, though.
We hear you guys are bad warriors. We want to party.
You really like that movie, don't you?
I love it. Cause, well, I saw it at the theater. I grew up, that it's so cool. With that, interestingly, I watched 48 Hours, same director, and a lot of the same cast. James Remar was in 48 Hours.
The Eddie Murphy movie?
Yeah, the guy who did the guy that shot Cyrus. He's in it.
That's right.
And there's a few other people in it, but it's the same director, Walter Hill, and he directed another 48 Hours. The soundtrack on 48 Hours is great. That orchestral music, when at the beginning the prison scene, and you got those big horns, boom, 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 boom. It's just so damn cool. It's that. And that time frame, that soundtrack is just awesome. And it carried over to another 48 Hours, that same theme music and stuff. It makes the movie.
Did Walter Hill direct 48 Hours?
Yeah, and he did another 48 Hours.
Did another 48 Hours?
Yeah.
That was like the first buddy kind of cop movie that came out.
Yeah.
Even though Eddie Murphy was a criminal, whatever Nick Nolte called him.
Yeah.
One of my favorite lines came from the captain. Just because you say it with conviction doesn't make it true.
That dude, the first captain, the big black guy, I can't remember his name. He was in 1941. He was in the tank with Dan Aykroyd.
He was?
He was. I love 1941. The only complaint I have with it is he shot it in that filter that made it look like an old 40s movie.
Yeah.
Like you're looking at the movie through a dirty fish tank.
Yep.
That's the only thing I don't like. And I wish they would remaster it so it's a little more like Lawrence of Arabia vivid.
Lawrence of Arabia. That was a great
But I love when they're up in that Ferris wheel and Eddie Deason has that little dummy he pops up out of it and starts looking around. And my favorite character, Slim Pickens, Hollis Wood, Christmas tree farmer.
Slim Pickens.
Had Christopher Lee in it. So
it did. That was Spielberg, right?
Yeah. That was such a good movie. Ned Beatty.
Not. I wouldn't say it's really well known now. Movies, gotta love them.
Shit, when growing up, you got that illegal HBO.
Illegal. Jim is, HBO is probably still looking for you.
They probably are. Well, good luck. But that's all. There were only so many channels to watch. We didn't have phones. Our phones were attached to the wall with a cord. So you went, saw movies. I saw Rambo, the first Rambo at the theater. That was a great movie. You see Rocky 3. I saw Rocky 3 at the theater. And you come out of that, you're like just you're so motivated and ready to kick ass. And Rambo, you're like, I want to fucking join the army. Do some stupid shit.
You did join the army and do some stupid shit.
Did. There are some good movies. Oh, there is a new movie on Netflix. I think it's called The Electric District. It's got Chris Pratt and Millie Bobby Brown, and it's like I think it takes place in maybe might be now times, but there was as it showed you the history. There were people used robots, and then the robots decided they didn't want to just be assistants and stuff. They wanted to live their own life. So, and all these different robots, like their leader was Mr. Peanut. It was the robot Mr. Peanut.
Really?
Yes, and it is such a good movie. I mean, it was so entertaining. Stanley Tucci's in it.
He's a great actor.
And he plays a dick, but he plays a good dick.
He plays a dick in a lot of movies.
Yeah.
It's like, this guy's a dick. Who do we get? Get that Stanley Tucci guy. He does a great dick.
That's Italian for dick. Tucci, yeah. That movie is the novelty and the AI where they the CGI where they did the robots and stuff is so damn cool. I mean, it's like different like Disney World, the animatronic stuff. It's similar to that, and they're over the top kind of steampunk vintage, but the movie's great. It's really good.
Steampunk. I can't believe that those words came out of your mouth. Do you even know what steampunk is?
Steampunk. That's it's like a fan group. They like old. They dress up, and it's not really period clothing. Kind of period clothing, but stuff where they've added things to it, and like they make like different guns and stuff with all kinds of different attachments and stuff.
Steampunk is the combination of the old and the new. Like, it might be a steampunk movie, and they might be going to the moon, but the rocket ship would be powered by steam,
Rubber bands,
or rubber bands. Or, that's exactly. That's exactly. I'm sure all the steampunk fans that are out there listening will have some comments to make about it.
I like my definition better. Yours is so simple. Steampunk is steam is when they want to go to the moon and they just go with steam. What
if I just jumped over there and just
I'll burn you.
You're mean.
I'll throw some of that 17-year-old Fitzgerald on you and you throw the cigar on you.
You better be glad I'm such a gentle soul, or I'd be kicking your ass every day.
Oh.
So you came by, you put a TV in at my place, and the very next day, the owners of the building came and said, we have termites.
Oh.
They kicked me out, and they're going to have to shoot shit all up in the walls to kill the termites.
So where are you living? In the Range Rover down by the river?
No, I'm in the main stage area now. I moved everything.
Stage made of wood?
Stage made. Well, at least that front area is made of wood. It's a metal building, and they built shit in there.
Yeah, how does a metal building get termites?
And I told them, I said, why don't you just tear all these walls down? And you should have seen their eyes.
Yeah, a can of gas and some matches, problem solved.
It probably needs to be torn down and redone. Because I believe once you get termites, you've got termites. But I could be wrong. I'm not a termite specialist.
I think things have changed now where it's easily treatable. But
Really?
I think here, but it's weird because there's certain areas. If one house gets termites, like they have to check, and I think this is like the government says you have to do this. They have to check the surrounding houses because they infest so fast and they can, they cause destruction so quick.
Really?
Am I keeping you from something? My termite story.
I'm getting the text from my soccer team. I'm just checking in to make sure that
Hollywood's a soccer team owner.
That's right. The New Caledonian Braves in Scotland. We're in the Lowland League, Scotland Lowland League, and we are in Motherland, Scotland. And Ryan Reynolds has got nothing on me. And I'm a lot nicer guy than he is.
He's a tool.
Well, the whole Ryan Reynolds, Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni. I feel sorry for that guy.
We should just get just all three of them go in a room and don't come out until they're all gone. Don't open the door until you hear absolutely nothing.
I do like his lawyer's balls, though. But his lawyer said, "Oh, really? You think that he did all this stuff? Well, here's every text, and here's the footage from the film, the raw footage from the film, and this is what really happened. So make your own decision."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Holy fuck! He put everything out there, and now we kind of look
good for him.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah.
Because he'd have been finished.
Because
I mean, I'm not into all this.
He was a not so known person.
He was nobody, and he spent years trying to get the rights to this book.
Yeah. He
got the rights to the book. He worked his balls off to get money for it, to get financed, and then she and her husband tried to take it over.
And you got, there's a nobody. Then Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively, who are both the perfect example of how shitty the industry is. And they try to do it. So good for him.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be a great awakening in Hollywood, or unwokening, whatever, in Hollywood. And we're going to see some good movies come out.
Yeah.
And stuff like that, Oh, my comment, the other episode about manly men actors.
Yeah.
Brad Pitt. I'd have to put him about even with Tom Cruise. But he's another one that, and Keanu Reeves.
And Brad Pitt's woman tried to fuck him over.
Yeah.
She tried to say he abused the kid, and if he hadn't been who he was, then he would have gone down too, whether it was true or not. Yeah. It's just, it's sad because that makes the real complaints and the real things that happen less believable. Yeah. I mean, you always have to believe it and give them the benefit of the doubt. You do, until it's proven different. But if Brad Pitt wasn't who he was, he'd already be in jail, or he'd already be, out of a job, or because the cancel culture works so quickly these days.
Yeah. It's insane now. They just...
It doesn't matter if it's true or not. All you have to do is say it.
Yeah.
But
it's the appearance.
You have to believe it, and you have to do something about it, but then you have to make sure the facts are told.
So I saw...
Isn't it great knowing that when you smoke the cigar, it's always going to be good?
It is a good cigar. It's a very good one. Mine is burning kind of weird, but whatever.
Mine's burning perfect.
Yeah.
I can only look at you and worry about your technique and your
kind of Jewish
expertise. Very funny, Jim. Very funny.
Oh.
But my soccer team's doing great. I'm eventually going to go over and see a game just because I have to.
Well, I would hope so.
Sit in the owner's box. And now, granted, my shares aren't as large as the majority owner. I'm definitely a minority owner, but it's still cool to be an owner.
You still go in there. Do you know who the fuck I am? I'm the owner. You pick up a sneaker. I own this.
Exactly.
I paid for this sneaker.
So me and Rebecca from, What's the show? The soccer show? American Coach?
Oh, Ted Lasso?
Yeah. I'm just like Rebecca. Maybe I could meet Rebecca at an owners meeting.
You could make some cupcakes or something.
I could.
Cookies?
Biscuits.
Biscuits. Cookies. Over here it's cookies. Over there it's biscuits. So this evening, I get to go pull up my F1 app.
Is that Formula One?
Watch today's F1 race. I'm on a media blackout until I get home and watch the race.
Because it's going on right now?
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite?
Do I have a favorite driver?
Yeah.
Not really. I want to see. I mean, I like it just because it's just cool. Fernando Alonso is my favorite because he's Aston Martin driver. But I wouldn't mind seeing Lewis Hamilton do real well in the Ferrari. He's a great driver, and like I don't know if you've seen when I can't remember what year, maybe it was 2021 when the final race. And it was between him and Max Verstappen on the championship, and the race stewards did something. I'd have to rewatch it to see, but they screwed Hamilton out of the win because something that they did that was not normal for them to do, because normally they would have treated it another way historically, but then this particular race they changed.
Was it shenanigans?
They altered. I think so. If you watch the race and you ask Toto Wolff, Toto Wolff would say, "Yeah, there was some shenanigans."
Oh, is that right? And who ended up winning?
Verstappen ended up winning. But it was something. I don't know if he came. I'd have to rewatch it because it's been so long. But now Verstappen's a good driver. And, I mean, he's real good, and he's just a hard racer, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I think this one time when the rules are the rules, and they seem to this one race kind of altered it to benefit him.
Are there any American drivers? Are they all European?
Logan Sargent is a American driver. I'm not real. There's not very many, but Mario Andretti is getting back into it with Cadillac. They're trying to get an F1 team together.
So the American Legion is our client. Diesel Jack Media.
Indy cars.
His niece runs marketing for American Legion. So I've met Mario.
I bet he's cool.
The coolest.
Did I say Mario?
Yes.
It's Michael.
Michael.
But Mario's into it too.
Yeah.
He's a great guy.
One just died of cancer, right? Like 2 years ago or something?
I don't know. Mario?
Let me see. What got you into F1?
I just started watching Netflix like everybody else.
It was on Netflix?
Yeah, Netflix has got that Drive to Survive.
I've never seen it.
Oh, dude, it will get you into F1. It's so cool the way they filmed it, and you hear the stories from the individual drivers. You get to know the drivers and the crew chiefs and stuff, and they're interesting people. And then Haas, right?
John Andretti died of colon cancer.
Oh yeah, he was a
NASCAR guy, and he's Mario's nephew.
And that's sad. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That
At 56.
That Haas Racing, they're American. They've got a team.
Oh really?
Yeah, they're an American team. I forgot about them. They don't have American drivers, but their crew chief or the team principal, I think is what they call it at F1. Gunther Steiner.
Stuff in your gut.
Well, let me put my tongue to the roof of my mouth. But he's a character. It's so crazy because he was born in Italy, but he speaks German. Like his accent is German.
Really?
Gunther Steiner, and he is hilarious.
Well,
he's not there.
But Gunther Steiner sounds like a German name.
Yes. He's he.
Can you do that one more time? The shenanigans line one more time.
What?
The Gunther.
Yeah, this is some shenanigans going on. So that he's in that Drive to Survive, and you get to it's like he cusses like crazy. It's like every other word
in English.
Yeah, because he works for Haas Racing,
and that's the American.
You know, he lives in Mooresville,
North Carolina.
Yeah,
no,
he does. That's where he lives.
Why would he? That's by the airport,
He's
right?
got a Racetown, USA in Mooresville. It's where all the NASCAR people are.
What?
Yeah, Mooresville, North Carolina.
You know, I'm not a. I got to admit.
Mooresville. Yeah, it's Mooresville.
I got to admit, I'm not a big racing fan.
I used to race late model race cars local, and
you used to what?
I used to race late model cars.
Like what?
Like just maybe a little shorter and not as powerful as a NASCAR. It was a NASCAR affiliated late model, but it's local tracks.
Really?
Yeah. I don't have them up. So I got my hoods off my race cars are in storage. I'll have to get them, hang them up.
You know, in Atlanta, if you let that go out, I'm going to smack you. I'm just telling you right now.
Out, bro.
In Atlanta, they have a 24-hour of lemons. Have you heard of that?
Mm-hmm. They do it in Alaska too.
We should do that. You can
only 4-hour.
You can only spend like $600 on your car.
Okay.
I'm serious. We should do that.
All right.
The 24-hour of lemons. That would be hilarious.
Have you ever watched? There's a YouTube show, Cigars from Motor Trend. I think it's not on the air anymore, but Roadkill. And they did it. They got I think they had an El Camino. They bought some beater ass El Camino, and they drove it from California to Alaska to the 24-hour race in Alaska in the car that they drove.
It's called Roadkill?
Roadkill.
It's a doc or a...
No, it's a show. It was like they had episodes every week.
Did they race?
They raced in like odd races like that. But they would build cars like they bought this hoopty that had hydraulics and stuff on it. And it was like a Monte Carlo. And they decided to drive it through the desert from LA to Las Vegas. And it's just funny as hell.
That sounds ridiculous.
They had a thing where they flew into like Arizona. They flew to Arizona and then looked in the phone book where junkyards were and got like an Uber. The Uber car dropped them off at the junkyard. They walked around the junkyard and look around.
They picked out a car?
Picked out a car, and then they sit there and get it running. It's so damn cool.
Is this Roadkill?
Yeah, it's Roadkill.
Dude, that sounds hilarious.
It's great. It's a great show. They have like they do old diesels. They had they wanted to some Dodge motor that they wanted to put in something.
Some Dodge what?
It's a Dodge motor that they were looking for, and they found an RV that had the Dodge motor, the exact motor they were looking for. So they buy the RV and they're just driving around trashing the shit out of the RV because they're going to pull the motor out of it anyway. and I can't remember what they put it in, but it was cool because we used to sit at the shop. It would come out, I think maybe every Wednesday or Thursday. They have a new episode, and it was usually about an hour long. It was so cool just to watch them work because just a couple of mechanics, getting cars going, and that was the whole thing. That was the premise of the show.
Find a shitty car,
find something shitty, and get it going. But it wasn't like they weren't finding shitty cars. They were like finding a classic car and getting it going. Like the one that they did in the junkyard, I think, was like a '58 Chevy. So it was like a straight six, and they're they're going around the junkyard trying to find batteries, and they found a battery. Then they would hunt around. They would find spark plugs that they could use and stuff, and like they needed to weld something, so they go and get a bunch of batteries and they wire them all up just so they can weld this one little part on. It was just cool to watch them do it, and I know it was mostly it's TV.
It's reality, so it's
but they would have a car, they would break down, and they would get the car. They would go to like the closest AutoZone or Advance and be out in the parking lot rebuilding the whole fucking motor or something, just going in and getting the parts, coming out and assembling all that shit, doing it all in the middle of the parking lot and go. It's just cool to watch them. And they had the first few episodes, they had a dog with them. The dog was the cutest damn thing, and I think the dog ended up passing away. But they're driving this car, and the dog's in the back seat, and they're just cruising along, talking, doing their show, and the dog throws up, and they're like, "Oh my god!" They turn around, "Oh my god!" They pull over, get out, and they're like hosing the back seat out, and they show the dog, that poor little dog. But it was a cool show. I quit watching it because Motor Trend made it where you had to subscribe, you had to pay.
Oh, of course it did. Bastards.
It's a good smoke, bro. Are you done?
Oh no.
Oh, okay. It's like, damn.
It's a great smoke. I don't know how they're always so great. You need to ash so your cigar can get some air. Your ash is blocking.
You think that's what it is?
That's part of the issue. Yeah, now you'll be able to get some air on that thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna get some air in this motherfucker.
See that? See all that air, all that heat? Yeah, you were blocking your airage.
It's like, what's the guy? Protsky. You remember Christine? The movie Christine?
Mark the car?
Yeah. No, about some 70s stripper. Yes, about the car. And that kid pulls that car up into that junkyard because that old man gave him permission to work on it.
The car's
Robert.
possessed.
Yeah.
The car's possessed, though, right?
Yeah. Well, right then they didn't know, but
Didn't they read the book?
Well, I don't know. Evidently not. Because then he wouldn't even have got that car. He'd been like, fuck no, I read the book on that car.
That's
I
right.
didn't know. But Robert Protsky, he does this. I told you, you can't polish a turd.
That sounded like fucking
Robert Meredith.
It did. How'd you know that's what I was going to say?
I was going to sound like it to me.
I was going to sound like Rocky's
funny.
manager.
It was
sound like some guy.
Let me tell you, Rocky. Hold on, let me turn my ear. Rocky. I want you to punch that turd in the next week.
And then
Hit him so hard it makes his grandkids stupid.
Clubber Lang killed him, right?
Yeah. Well, it didn't kill him, but he had a heart attack.
Mr. T. Bastard.
Mr. T made me have a heart attack. He came over here.
He's so short.
If you remember, it wasn't Saturday Night Live, it was Fridays. had Michael, what's his name from Seinfeld? Kramer from Seinfeld.
The tall guy?
Yeah. Had him. Actually,
He got, he was one of the first guys to get canceled.
Yeah.
Back in the early canceling
used
days.
the N-word.
Yeah.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus was on that show Fridays. And
I always thought she was pretty.
yeah, I always thought she was funny. But they did this thing, and it was Mr. T's martini mix or something, margarita mix. And I had the chick, she had the birds and shit. It's Mrs. T margarita mix. I pity the fool who don't use margarita mix.
Don't burn that band, you bastard.
Why is it collectible?
I'm making a table.
Oh, are you gonna put all your bands up?
I've got hundreds of Opus X bands.
Well, you did. I noticed you didn't keep any bands from the show.
I did.
I've thrown all of them away.
No, they're over here.
Oh, okay.
Well, there's only certain bands that I care about.
Oh, I see.
I'm an Opus whore. You know, I admit it. I'm a snob when it comes to Opus X.
I have an old book I got from a thrift store that has somebody used. It's like a scrapbook, but they put cigar bands in it.
Did you just say thrift shop?
Thrift store.
It's a great song. You ever heard the song Thrift Shop? Hey Siri, play Thrift Shop.
Take me to the thrift shop. Isn't that it? Or is that Candy?
Stop it. Take it to the candy store. That's what you're doing. Stop it. Let me play. This is a great song.
Hey, we're going to get
copyrighted. What? I can play a few seconds of it. But we can only hope that someone is watching that would infringe on us.
We got copyrighted for the Winston Churchill speech. That was public domain.
Hang that for more. Can we go thrift shopping?
What?
You ever heard the song?
And the copyright.
Honky. Listen to some weird shit.
But shit, it was 99 cents. I can hop in it, watching it. About to go and get some compliments. Passing up on those pockets and someone else know I can help.
Thrift shop.
Thrift shop.
I'm gonna pop some cash. I got $20 in my pocket.
Have you ever heard? Let me see here. See if I can remember the.
Oh, we're counting on your memory. Is that we're counting on your memory? On his memory.
Here you go.
I want 2 big patties, special sauce, onions, tomatoes, lettuce, on the sesame seed bun. On the sesame seed bun, the big dummy.
I've never heard this. Who is this?
This old man with old dirty bastard and Mastakilla. We used to Carrie started doing stuff where she would like renovate furniture and stuff.
Yeah.
So she was renting this warehouse down the other end of Burlington, and had all the stuff in there. And we had an old '72 Chevy pickup truck, and I had ear candy painted on the side of the truck, like old
Is
vintage
that the name of your company?
stereo shop. And Carrie would always drive that truck, and she would go like garage sales and stuff and get furniture cheap, and throw it in the back. She'd buy a piece of furniture for like $10 and refinish it and turn around and sell it for $800-900.
What?
Yeah, she's doing real well. She's very talented. Paint.
Why is she with you, do you think?
I have no idea. He's my big pecker. That's what she said.
I wish I had her number because I'd call her up right now and have her say you're a liar.
Well, it certainly wasn't my brain, my witty intellect.
Maybe it was your entrepreneurial spirit.
Yeah, I don't know. She was in it for the money.
You had no money then.
I know it, but she had a dog, Delilah. It was a rescue.
That was a song by Tom Jones.
Yes.
Why, Delilah? Cry, 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 Delilah.
Well, Delilah was the best dog ever. And it was Carrie's dog. She went everywhere with Carrie. And Carrie didn't have her on a leash. Carrie would do this. And Delilah would come right over, just listen. And she would tell her, Delilah would see somebody barking. Carrie would go, just watch. Delilah would just sit there and just watch. She wouldn't let people get close to Carrie. And she would be in that truck,
Like Sanford and Son.
And that song, I heard that song, and I was like, oh my God! And I fell in love with it because we'd be in the truck driving around and doing bom 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 bom, doing the Quincy Jones, Fred Sanford soundtrack. Oh my Lord!
People today, they don't have any idea about the shows in the old days. All in the Family,
Yeah.
Sanford and Son,
Red
the
Fox
Jeffersons.
Hilarious.
His comedy was so nasty.
It was, but he was
so funny.
There's a book that I read. It's called it was Red Fox BS before Sanford, and it goes through and he's telling like when he used to do the comedy circuit and everything, and then when he got to California,
And there was tons of prejudice back then.
Yeah, they call it the Chitlin circuit or something like that.
Yeah.
But he was just so damn funny, and I just remember being little and watching, Sanford Son, and I loved it. I thought it was great.
Lamont,
You big dummy.
you big dummy.
The shows were good back then. Now,
Well, reality has killed
yeah.
real entertainment. And it shows the nature of the country that people just want to see other people in misery. Because most reality shows are about people in misery and the bad things that happen to them and can't get along and breaking up. And who would have thought it's just ridiculous.
That's one of the few things I remember doing with my father was watching Sanford Son.
Because he died when you were 10?
I was 12.
12?
My sister probably has some cool stories about him. I know she said that he used to smoke a joint and watch Walter Cronkite.
Really?
Yeah, I never really.
And pot was like, no back then.
But
was he in the war?
Remembers that? Yeah, he was a POW in Korea.
That's right. Yeah, I'm a big proponent of, pot for veterans that have PTSD and, where you going?
Right back.
And so that's Jim. Jim stepping out. Maybe going to get a sandwich.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a sandwich.
Maybe grabbing another Egg McMuffin that he didn't share with me today. That's why I was at a disadvantage drinking all this rum. And
Sorry, man. That was my dad. That's from Lakeland, Florida. That's where my brother drowned.
look at that station wagon.
Yeah, but does he look like Brian Keith?
Oh yeah.
So that every time I see Brian Keith, it reminds me of my dad. When Carrie and I we were watching a movie, and
Hair and everything.
Brian Keith, Brian Keith was on it. I said he reminds me of my dad so much. I said because he looks like him. And Carrie looked at the thing I was showing. She said he does.
He really does.
Did he sound like him? And I was like, and then it dawned on me. I don't remember what he sounded like.
He definitely has the same nose.
Yeah. But
This is in Lakeland, Florida.
that was in Lakeland, Florida.
Wow.
And we lived in Lakeland.
You'll have to show this. Shoot this and put it into the.
All right.
That's awesome, buddy.
Yeah. But that we
I don't know what he was doing with that shovel and that concrete, but
I ain't no telling. 'Cause I was like 4. He worked for Watkins Motor Lines. He was the safety director at Watkins Motor Lines in Lakeland. But
how'd you guys get up here then?
my well, we were born here. My mom was born here. My dad was born up in the mountains. But when we lived in Florida, when I was 4 and I had an older brother, Marty, he was 8. Well, we had a boat, and they went out, and I was there too. I was on the boat too. And then the only memory I have is being put in the back of the car. My brother drowned. They were docking the boat, and he jumped off the boat. Was going to show my dad how he had learned how to swim. And when he jumped down, he got caught up in the muck and everything that was around the dock, and so he drowned. And the only memory I have is being put in the back of the car. I don't have any memories of my brother. I'm not saying that they're not like in there somewhere. I just can't. I've never been able to pull them up. But so it was immediately we moved. We moved to Knoxville. He got transferred. Excuse me. Got transferred to Knoxville, and he was safety director for highway transport, which they were all, I think Watkins and highway transport were the same company.
Right.
And we lived in Knoxville forever. I remember the boat. It was a pretty good sized boat, but of course it got sold. I remember it got sold as soon as we got there. It was gone. And what's funny is I was never taught how to swim. I had to teach myself, which you got to be a moron if you don't know how to tread water. It should be automatic, but of course they sent me. I went to camp, in the mountains, and stay at camp for a week and things like that. And you had to swim.
They let you go.
Yeah, just send me off, and I'll never forget when they took me. And there was a test. You had to go in there and they put you in the pool, and you had to be able to tread water. Well, I knew how to tread water and stuff, so they put you in the pool. You tread water. Okay, you're good to go. Come on out. And then mandatory. Every kid that got out of the pool, eardrops. And I don't know what the hell they were putting in our ears, but it was like the old school big ass eyedropper.
Yeah.
That was Camp Catawba. I don't know if it was in North Carolina or Tennessee. It might still be around, or might not. I don't know. Probably
Don't forget your cigar.
some Jason stuff going on. Oh, look at that. Still smoking.
Camp Catawba.
Let's see.
Let's see if it's
Yeah,
still
it's
around.
Catawba.
With a K or a
Catawba.
Catawba.
Yeah, Catawba.
With a K or a C.
With a C and a W. Catawba. Look at that. It's a good cigar.
It's a miracle.
Any cigar that you can set down for 2 minutes and come back.
Yep. Camp Catawba was a summer camp for boys near the town of Blowing Rock in the Blue Ridge Mountains of North Carolina.
Weehaw!
It was established in 1994.
What? No.
It was established in 1994.
Okay, well, it's not the same camp then. This was back in the 70s, bro.
But let me see how long it lasted.
Oh, it lasted to 1994.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said established.
It started in Vera Lackman. Throughout Catawba's 27 summers, most of the campers and many of the staff came from New York City and Washington, D.C. In the beginning, many of the boys were the sons of parents.
Sons of what?
Hold on. Did it have an L in it? Or just Camp Catawba?
Catawba.
This is it, bro.
Catawba.
This is it.
Interesting. But there were girls there.
Do you remember Ira Deborah Bolick, farmer, and
That son of a bitch raped me.
okay,
Well,
no more lemon lime.
Kidding.
No more lemon lime, whatever you're drinking.
You shut your poor mouth. I'll have as many as I want. Oh. You know, when we lived in Lakeland, I don't know how he knew people, but like the Detroit Tigers baseball team would be down there for spring practice in Lakeland. And any weekend they were down there, they would be at the house. And I met Al Kaline, Bill Freehand, all these people from the Tigers. And I still have their pictures where they would bring me autographed pictures of baseballs and stuff. Don't know where the baseball's at, but I still have the pictures. And
where were the Tigers at?
In Lakeland, they had spring training in Lakeland. Are you going to fact check me on that shit?
Yeah, because I think you're a lying whore.
Fact check that shit, bro.
Where was it again? Lakeland?
Lakeland, Florida.
Oh.
Detroit Tigers, spring training. This would have been in the 70s. And my sister, later on, after we had already moved to Tennessee and went back to visit, my sister dated Mark the Bird Fidrich, who was the pitcher for the Detroit.
I know who that guy is.
Well, I don't know if you fact check that. You probably want to forget her.
The Detroit Tigers have a long-standing tradition of holding their spring training in Lakeland, Florida. Mark the Bird Fidrich dated Jim Salvation Coffee Young.
Robin Young.
They've been doing their training camp there since 1934.
Yeah, I don't know how he knew all these people.
Your dad?
Yeah, but there's pictures where they would be at dinner parties, and it's him and my mom and who was the guy that did all the union stuff? Jack Nicholson portrayed him. Jimmy Hoffa. There's a picture, was like a truckers union or something like that, and they're in Florida at some fancy hotel, and it's a picture, where the guy comes and snaps the picture of the entire table, and it was Jimmy Hoffa and his wife, and then my mom and my dad, and then another couple, and I never. See, I don't agree with the unions. I don't think. Who's that? Martin Bird, yeah. She got a gray Detroit Tigers shirt from him. I doubt she still has it, but
You don't agree with the union stuff?
no, but I remember
Which union
it's
stuff?
one term, unions. I don't think there's a need for unions anymore.
I can tell you this, there is a need, because in the movie business, they'd work us 20, 30 hours a day.
Okay. Well, I understand that.
And because of the union, I have great insurance.
Yes, I understand that.
Health insurance. My health insurance because I wouldn't. I'd have the fucking VA if it wasn't for that. And the VA
Yeah,
doesn't
look
get
at me.
That's what I was trying. I was trying to be nice about that.
No, I had that same discussion with my mom, and I can't remember what it was. I said something about. I think I was working somewhere, and they were trying to get me to join the union, and I said something about I'm not going to give them my money, and join this stupid ass union. And my mom, she said, I don't know about that. She said, but I know your daddy was in the union and they treated us nice. They treated us very nice.
You have to look back as to why the unions came about.
Oh, I totally
and they
understand.
came about because of coal miners.
Yeah, but now we have laws,
right,
to keep that stuff.
But we wouldn't have those. We wouldn't have those laws if it hadn't been for the union. Now, I'm not saying the union is the end all perfect, because they're not. Because there's fucked up shit about the union.
Yeah.
But there was a time when, without unions, people would have continued to be abused, like they were in the coal mines.
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying.
Well,
but because of the corruption, I hear what you're saying.
People are going to be sucking if the immigrants that pick our crops and stuff decide to unionize. Mm-hmm.
But look how they're treated. I mean, you have to look how they're treated.
Remember Norma Ray?
Yeah, that was Sally Field.
You like me. You really like me. That's the one she won the Academy Award for. She did that. Oh, that was a good movie. Hey, look, there's no error message up.
It's a miracle. To say that we've had some technological issues with our podcasts would be a true statement. But
we have had some gremlins up in our shit.
But slowly but surely, for the two people that are watching this show, we're getting our act together.
We have 14 subscribers, sir.
There's no way that 14 people are listening to us just sit here bullshit.
Oh, some guy came in the coffee shop and he said, "Hey man, I dig you in Office Joe." I was like, "Thanks, man." He said, "I was in it too." I was like, "Really? Which episode?" And I told him, I said, "Me and Hollywood got a podcast." He was like, "Really?" And I told him about it. But he works right down the street from the shop or something. I'm still waiting on that fucking check.
Was he one of the?
Will I ever get paid for that?
No.
Well, damn. I mean, Albert came up and told me they were going to pay me, and I was like, "You ain't got to do that, man."
Well, you shouldn't have said that because
he said, no, we got to pay some. I said, "Okay, give me $100." Well, I'm still waiting on that $100, Albert. You should be watching this because I subscribed and bought all the episodes of Office Joe. I've subscribed to all the podcasts you and Nick did. So you guys need to reciprocate. That's called supporting your friends.
Office Joe, available on Amazon Prime.
And iTunes.
Google Play.
And I bought it on Amazon and I bought it on iTunes. Because I roll like that. And it is a funny show.
Folks, Opus X is always from the beginning to the end. A great smoke. Thanks for joining us today on the
Smoked Debrief.
We'll see you next week.